Usually when we crack open a new topic in tech, we know what we're in for.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we expect charts, benchmarks, maybe a debate about memory usage. It's all very clinical.
Right. It's about the machine. Which tool is faster? Which one scales better? It's a very, utilitarian conversation.
Exactly. But today is different. We're looking at a piece of technology that defines itself not by speed, but by a philosophy. You could almost call it a religion.
It is, without a doubt, one of the most opinionated pieces of software out there.
Yeah.
Today, we're unpacking the Ruby on Rails doctrine.
And this isn't some third-party analysis. This comes straight from the creator, David Heinemeier Hansson, DHH.
And DHH is, well, he's a polarizing figure, to put it mildly. He does not keep his opinions to himself.
He certainly doesn't. And what's wild to me is that Rails has been around for, over a decade. In tech years, that's ancient.
It's a fossil.
Right.
Yeah.
But DHH claims its longevity isn't just the code, it's this controversial doctrine. He actually calls the community a tribe united by heretical thoughts.
Heresy is the perfect word. I mean, if you look at programming when Rails showed up in the mid-2000s, it basically broke every rule.
Okay.
And this doctrine, this manifesto, it lays out 9 pillars explaining why. Our mission today is to unpack those. Because this is really about human nature, not just computers.
It feels surprisingly human for a technical document. So let's jump in. We had to start with the emotional core. Pillar 1 is literally optimize for programmer happiness.
This is the foundation, and honestly, it's a bizarre statement if you come from a traditional engineering background.
Right, because you optimize for the computer, for speed, for efficiency.
Yeah.
You don't ask a mechanic if the wrench makes them happy.
You just ask if it turns the bolt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to get this, you have to look at the language Rails is built on, which is Ruby.
Okay.
The creator of Ruby, a guy named Matz, he had this really radical idea that the programmer's happiness was more important than the machine's efficiency.
Which sounds nice, but isn't that practically a bad idea? I mean, the computers are doing the work. That was the wisdom at the time. You had Python, which has this philosophy of there's one way to do it, very strict. Or you had Java, which was so bureaucratic, it was designed to protect programmers from themselves, almost like it didn't trust them.
And then Ruby comes along.
Right. Ruby was about being expressive, and DHH talks about this principle of the bigger smile. It's totally subjective. He basically admits he built Rails to make himself smile.
I love the example he gives because it makes it so clear. He talks about code like people.third or 2.days.ago.
Yes. This is a perfect example of that trade-off.
Because, logically, a computer doesn't need to read English. That's actually inefficient for the processor, isn't it?
It's incredibly inefficient. She even calls it pathological from a computer science perspective. It's wasted cycles. But it's highly efficient for the human brain.
A magical glove is what he called it.
That's it. It fit his brain perfectly. And it turns coding from just a utility into what he calls an intellectual romance.
An intellectual romance. That's a strong phrase for typing at a keyboard.
It is, but it's about getting into a flow state. If the code reads like a story, you stay in the zone. You aren't translating your thoughts into computer speak. The computer is speaking your language.
And that ties right into another pillar. Exalt beautiful code.
It's the same idea. It's not just does it work, it's is it beautiful to look at?
But how do you even define beautiful code?
Huh.
Isn't that subjective?
To a point, but it's about clarity, about rhythm. He gives this great comparison. The standard way to check if something's in a list might be if people.include person.
Okay, if people include person, a bit clunky.
Versus the Rails way, which lets you write if person.in.people.
That does sound more natural.
It changes the focus, the subject is the person, it flows like a sentence, it has a rhythm.
So beautiful code makes the work more enjoyable, and that leads to better work.
Precisely. It treats the programmer like a craftsman, not a factory worker.
And here's the pushback. You can't just have everyone doing whatever makes them happy.
Right.
Right? If I'm happy naming my code after hobbits and you're naming yours after Jedi, we're going to have a mess.
You're absolutely right. Pure individualism is chaos. And that brings us to how Rails solves this, how it handles decision fatigue.
Convention over configuration. This is probably the most famous Rails slogan.
It is.
And the motto he quotes is, honestly, a bit brutal. He says, "You're not a beautiful and unique snowflake."
It is harsh, but it's meant to be.
What does he mean by that? Why shouldn't I be a snowflake when I'm coding?
He means that 95% of your problems are not unique. Developers waste so much time on pointless decisions. What should I name this database table? Where does this file go? Tabs or spaces?
All the endless debates. The bike shedding.
Exactly. You spend all your energy arguing about the color of the bike shed instead of building the power plant. Rails just says, stop, we've decided. The table is named this, the file goes here, move on.
So the constraints actually liberate you.
They liberate you to focus on the 5% of your app that actually is unique. Stop reinventing the wheel so you can invent the car.
And he says this is a huge benefit for beginners.
Huge. DHH says, ignorance is an asset. A beginner can build a complex app without knowing why everything works yet.
You just turn the key and drive the car.
Right. But this leads to the next pillar, which takes this even further. The menu is omakase.
Omakase. From sushi, right. I'll leave it up to you.
Exactly. You go to a great sushi place. You don't tell the master chef what to make. You trust them.
No, they look at you with such disappointment.
Right. You trust that they know best. DHH applies that to your tech stack.
Because normally programmers love to pick and choose everything. It's like a buffet.
And that buffet leads to what's often called JavaScript fatigue. There are too many choices. Rails just says, here is the curated menu. We chose the best tools for you. Just eat.
So you give up some individual choice, but you get a better, more cohesive meal.
Yes. And it creates a shared reality.
What do you mean by shared reality?
Safety in numbers. If everyone is using the default Rails tools and you run into a bug, thousands of other people have probably already solved it.
Ah, I see. It's like everyone driving a Toyota Camry. It's really easy to find a mechanic.
Precisely. You're never alone with your problem. Now, he does say substitutions are possible, but the omakase menu is the default for a reason.
Okay, so we've got happiness and pre-made decisions. Let's talk structure. This is where it gets contentious. The pillar is value-integrated systems.
And this is where Rails really picks a fight with modern tech trends.
What's the fight about?
Well, the big trend for years has been microservices, breaking your app into tiny separate pieces, your user login is one app, billing is another, and so on.
And Rails is the opposite.
Completely. Rails champions the majestic monolith.
The majestic monolith. I love that name. It sounds like something from 2001, a space odyssey.
It's meant to be that grand. The goal is to let a single person, a generalist, build a whole system, from the database all the way to the front end.
So instead of a team of specialists, it empowers one person to do it all.
Yes. DHH argues that breaking things apart just adds complexity. Network issues, latency. It's a massive headache. He thinks it's a misconception that you need to build your app 3 different times for the server, for the web, for mobile.
Right?
He says build it once, in one place. You're not Google, don't act like it.
That's so empowering for a startup. But to do that, you have to embrace the next pillar. No one paradigm.
This is the quilt metaphor. Computer science loves purity. Purely object-oriented or purely functional.
Right.
Rails is a quilt. It stitches everything together, even when it's messy and the ideas conflict.
And this is where the active record controversy comes in, right?
Yeah.
The purists were offended.
Deeply offended. In pure software design, you separate your business rules from how you save data.
You don't let the peas touch the mashed potatoes.
Exactly. And Rails mashes them together with active record. The purists called it dirty, a violation of the laws of software physics. But DHH argues it's just practical. It works.
So it's getting it done over doing it by the book.
Absolutely. It accepts some conceptual overhead to gain speed.
Which leads us to how Rails treats the programmers themselves. This is maybe my favorite pillar. Provide sharp knives.
It's so good. It really shows the philosophical divide.
Sharp knives. It sounds dangerous. Most software is trying to give you safety scissors.
It is dangerous. That's the point. The philosophy is, trust the programmer. Most languages give you spoons. You can't hurt yourself with a spoon, but you can't slice a steak either.
Rails gives you the steak knife.
It gives you a scalpel. The main example is monkey patching.
Which is just a great term. What does it mean?
It means you can change the core behavior of the language itself while it's running. You could, for example, rewrite how all strings in your app get capitalized.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Couldn't that break everything?
You absolutely could. You could cut yourself badly. But DHH rejects the paternalism of other languages. He hates the attitude of, I trust myself, but I don't trust other programmers.
So he treats programmers like chefs in training.
Exactly. You don't ban knives in a kitchen because an apprentice might get cut. You teach them. He believes the only path to elegance is through making mistakes.
That's a powerful view on growth. But growth means change, which can be painful. This brings us to progress over stability.
This is the break things pillar.
But wait, don't businesses want stability?
They do. But DHH argues that without change, systems ossify. They harden and stop moving. To survive, you have to keep moving.
You mentioned the scar tissue from the Rails 2 to 3 upgrade. It sounds like that was traumatic.
It was a huge deal. It broke tons of applications. People were furious. They had to rewrite so much code. But DHH says it was necessary.
Why? Why not just support the old version forever?
Because then Rails would have become a museum piece. Compatible, but obsolete. He sees it as their duty to push the whole ecosystem forward, even if it hurts.
So they're dragging the community into the future, kicking and screaming.
In a way, yes. It's prioritizing the future over the past.
But, and this is the final pillar, which seems like a huge contradiction, after all these strong opinions, the last one is push up a big tent.
Which doesn't make any sense at first, right?
None at all. After all that, he says you don't actually have to agree with everything to be welcome.
It's a nuanced point. The core of the framework is opinionated, but the community has to be diverse. He uses the example of a tool called RSpec.
What's that?
It's a testing tool that DHH openly dislikes. He's written against it. He thinks the built-in Rails tools are better. And yet, RSpec is wildly popular in the Rails community, maybe even more popular than the default.
And he sees that as a good thing.
Relax.
The success of a tool he hates.
He sees it as proof of the Big Ten. It means there's room for dissent. You can be a heretic inside the tribe of heretics. If everyone thought exactly like him, the whole thing would become a cult of ideological hermits and die.
Wow. So stepping back, this is so much more than just a coding framework.
It's a whole philosophy.
It prioritizes human emotion. It makes decisions for you to avoid fatigue. It empowers one person to build a monolith. It gives you sharp knives.
It's a counterculture vision. That's the real takeaway. It challenges the idea that programming is just a utility, like a hammer. It tries to be a way of life for the creator.
And it really forces you to ask, who are you optimizing for?
That's the question for you, the listener, even if you never write a line of code. In your own work, in your teams, are you optimizing for the machine, for the metric, or for the human being who's actually doing the work?
And are you handing your team spoons to keep him safe? Or are you handing them sharp knives and trusting them to become chefs?
That's the scary question. But the doctrine suggests it's the only way to cook a real meal.
A lot to chew on. That's all for our deep dive into the Rails Doctrine. Thanks for walking us through the heresy.
My pleasure.
And thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.